Zane? Oh my god, dude.
We made it.
You're here.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Slightly Serious.
I'm Nick.
I'm Zane.
And this is Slightly Serious.
As if we didn't say that already. But how you doing, man?
We're back. We finally got back here.
It's been 2 weeks. You guys haven't seen our face for 2 weeks. I don't think that's happened yet on this. That we took a week off.
It's the first time, dude, that we've ever been gone for 2 full weeks.
Yeah. We took some time. We wanted to finish up some stuff. We wanted to give ourselves just a week off anyways. Like we've been doing it for like 5.5 months straight. I think it's probably a good practice to do. Like every 5-6 months, take a week that we just kind of give you all a break. We'll probably aim the next one probably around holidays. Probably be better from here on out. But this one was just one we kind of needed. He had some stuff going on. I had some stuff going on. It just kind of gave us a chance.
And we got a little caught up in the magical world.
Yeah, we been reading some books and doing some things, but been back. I think no updates on my mortgage application.
No, nothing yet.
Not yet. There's still
those of you who weren't listening last week, Zane applied to buy a house.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
At this point.
Yes.
But yeah, I did apply. No response yet. Still, we've asked for some I've been in communication. They needed more info and stuff from me because of how I get paid. It's a little harder for me to do applications because I'm not hourly. They call my pay variable or some shit.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit harder for them to pinpoint my numbers. But they haven't said no yet. So as long as they haven't said no, there's a chance still.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But outside of that, been doing some family shit, doing some fun things. Had some game nights with family and my girlfriend and her family this weekend.
Nice. What kind of games did you play?
We played some board games and stuff. Something called Pirate Dice. It was
Never heard of that.
I'd never heard of it before last night. We played some code names, but it was with pictures instead of the words. I played the words version before.
Okay, yeah.
But they had a pictures version, so it was you're describing the pictures instead of the words themselves.
Nice.
A little bit. I liked it more than the word version.
Just a different visual representation. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. We played some Cards Against Humanity at the end. It was just a good time. So we just had an enjoyable time playing some music, ate some good food. Just got back from my work a little late and just had a nice little day to relax.
Very nice.
And then today we've been here, just putting some work in, catching up on some shit.
Definitely. Yeah.
You're back driving.
I am driving a car again. Yes.
You have had some doctor's appointments and some.
I had an MRI of my brain. Basically, the most recent results is I had an MRI of my brain and an MRI of my spine. And the one result for my spine came back that my C5, C6, C7, and T1 areas all show impingement. Previously, I had the C7 and T1, but now the C5 and C6 are also showing some signs of stuff. So it's from here, basically, kind of down to this area.
Yeah.
And then the MRI of my brain came back, and it shows a likely cyst of the incisive magnum foramen or something like that, or whatever the fuck that is. But it's basically where your brain stem or your brain connects to your spine, that hole that goes through the base of your skull. I have a cyst sitting right there. It's a central nervous system cyst or whatever, and it's sitting right there. So we'll just kind of see I don't know if my doctor needs to consult with another doctor to kind of figure out whether or not they feel that might be.
I don't know if we had the update on here about the stuff on your side because we were talking about you had to get those
so I had
biopsied.
I had one of them removed on my left side, not the two on my right. Two on my right were much smaller. You can't even really see them unless you're looking for them. But they were these little balls that were inside my skin that I could feel occasionally. And so one of them was biopsied, and the results came back severely necrotic and focal fibrotic, which just means it was
bunch of dead shit,
part dying and decaying, and the other parts just had focal fibrosis on it. It was filaments and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so nothing
crazy
dangerous
there.
Or anything.
No, but since that was removed, whether it was due to the fact that it was sitting on my nervous fascia, pinching a nerve, or now it's no longer sitting on there and the nerve is relaxing, or whether it's just from inflammation due to the fact that he was digging around
Yeah,
my leg.
because you had some
I have
issues
issues
after.
moving my leg a little bit, but it's getting better every day. Honestly, I feel like
Yeah,
really good right
as I
now.
said, if it's inflammation or something, it's just gonna be time.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel pretty good today.
I mean, so you're back to driving, which is a good sign.
yeah.
If you're feeling safe enough to drive, then you're
Yeah.
definitely on the right path.
It's a good thing.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so there's been a decent amount of stuff. I got an event going on next weekend. Looking forward to.
What is that?
It's a once a year thing. It's a family family that's a friend of ours. Like grew up around them. The dad of the family, he was like my baseball coach and like my best friend's dad growing up. And they have a corn roast every year, and like the whole like there's like 200 people get invited every year. They just do like a giant outdoor grilling of like corn on the cob. Everybody brings a dish. And they just have like a really long buffet line. You just go up and have plates. They got music, bonfire later, drinks flowing around. There's like party games earlier on, kid games going on for the kids earlier in the night.
Where is it a big place?
He's got a decent sized property out there, and that's
So it's
where
not
he
like a
has it.
venue. It's at their
No,
place.
it's at their property. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's been pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. It's like it's every year it happens. The only 2 years it didn't was like around COVID issues where no gatherings were really allowed. But other than that, it usually happens every year. Really a good time. Got a wedding and stuff that I just got scheduled or invited and got the vacation time approved for next month. So I'll be taking 2 weeks off for work next month. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't taken 2 weeks off of work voluntarily in a long time. I was off work for about 2 weeks when I got hurt, but this is actually for something I want to do. We're doing a weekend for the vacation and then the following weekend for my birthday getaway. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be home in between, but just kind of chilling, not having to worry about work.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
So I'll definitely try to get a decent sleep schedule during that time. That's my goal. Is because
Dude, don't even say sleep right now.
we're both over here like
Don't even.
like this is
I'm fighting
this is
yawns.
Mountain
Just
Dew.
being alive.
I don't drink Mountain Dew,
I don't drink Mountain Dew either, but
but
here it is.
caffeine.
And by Mountain Dew, I mean brand-free caffeine sugar water.
It's the condensation of the tall hills. We just started a company where we make a drink called the condensation of the tall hills.
That's good.
Think anybody would if we just call it Koth? It's a $1 million idea. I know
There
it.
you go.
But anyway, so yeah, just kind of been trying to do more things on my time off. I know I don't have a lot of time, and I'm getting less time as work goes, but I'm trying to like enjoy that time, and my girlfriend's really been helping with that. I'm like planning to do things, not just sitting at home. We did have an episode go out last week on our second channel. We didn't have an episode on this go out. We did on our second channel.
Yes.
If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Link will be in the bio for that.
You should check it out.
That
It's
was
cool.
a fun one. Actually involved these.
Cups.
Now we're putting them to use. But yeah, we played a game with cups and colors, and we did fucking horrible. But it was a
And
good time.
those of you who don't know, Zane is colorblind. Like he's colorblind. Like
So
colorblind.
I'm gonna say it on here because I haven't told you about it yet. I think it's a funny conversation. So my girlfriend did watch that thing. I remember, like she kind of gave some insight on it.
Yeah.
She messaged me earlier on the way to when I was on my way here, and she goes, "I had an idea for another episode for that for you guys." She goes, "You know how like M&Ms are all different colors, but the color isn't flavored.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a color." She goes, "You guys should get candies like that where they have different colors, but the color doesn't affect the flavor, and blindfold yourselves and see if you can taste the color." She's like, "You guys obviously can't see colors, but can you taste them?" And it'd be one of those things where it almost really doesn't matter.
You're just guessing.
Yeah, like there are some candies where like, the flavor, we could do that too.
Yeah.
Where we can get like Skittles where they actually have flavors.
I was thinking of
So-
something where it's like almost like a punishment where like you don't know what you're gonna get, where it would be like those. Since we did Harry Potter stuff, we would get those beans.
Well, we can also do those too. That's also something we could do.
Bernie Bots or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the any flavored beans.
Any flavored beans.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I know where
but-
they sell them too. I know where to buy them.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so
Actually, I'm just gonna shout them out. They're called Operation Fandom.
hell
They're
yeah.
in Medina. And
Medina.
honestly, if you haven't heard of this place, just go check it out. It's super cool.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of it, you probably don't live in Medina.
There's a lot of things.
There's a
that
really
you
high
would-
percentage chance you don't live in Medina.
You should just go to Medina.
This is a swarm of Medina people.
And
like,
check
what the
out
fuck
that-
are we getting tourists
Between
for?
Operation Fandom Bro and Sweets and Geeks, these are some of the best places that you can go to, whether you play cards, whether you collect Pokemon.
Just
whether-
collectibles in general.
Anything. Any candy, old toys, anything.
Yeah, fuck
Go.
Amazon and
Just go check
shit.
it out.
Go to your local like shops. Support them motherfuckers.
Seriously, Sweets and Geeks and Operation Fandom.
But yeah, but outside of that, so the house stuff, been debating on splurging on like $200 for a tattoo, just to get another little piece added to the sleeve, and just outside of that, just kind of working.
You're going to get another tattoo?
Yeah, I'm thinking about expanding the video game sleeve a little bit more.
What are you going to do?
The Ocarina from Zelda. I want to
Nice.
get the Ocarina of Time and the Mask of Majora. I want like both of them somehow combined in a tattoo. But I gotta see, like, talk to my artist, find out budget wise how much for a decent like piece for that. Did you ever play those games? The Nintendo 64 was what they were on.
I have the Ocarina of Time, but I have it for the DS.
Have you ever played Majora's Mask?
I do not know that I've played that one. I know they're hard games.
Oh, they are.
They're like puzzle
enjoyable,
solving
though.
games. You have to kind of figure it out. They are not easy, especially Ocarina of Time. Not an easy game.
Yeah, images. It was a fun game though.
Oh, it's a great game. Great game.
Yeah, Majora's Mask. It's just so that game I enjoyed more than Ocarina. But yeah, it's just like a mask thing and the game.
Could you beat Ocarina?
Yeah, I beat both of them.
Oh, I couldn't beat Ocarina at the time.
Oh yeah,
I
all
didn't know
the
what
different
the-
temples and shit.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing half the time, bro.
But you know, those were fun. But those again early games that I played, so I want to get something to memorialize them on here. I also want to get Super Mario RPG, God of War, the original God of War game, Rocket League, just a bunch of just different games that I played throughout life. You know.
Hell yeah.
So I started with Pokemon, one of the first games I played on the Game Boy Color. I know you can't really see it on here. If I remember, I'll try to take a picture and blow it up. But it is a Game Boy Color Pokeball. There's Charizard and Blastoise fighting over the Game Boy. Because when I did the starters, I'd always go Squirtle or Charmander. So this is their evolved versions fighting over the Game Boy Color.
Very nice.
So that was the start of the sleeve, and then the rest will be more video game stuff as it goes.
Oh yeah.
But I've just been debating on if I wanted to throw $200 or a couple $100 towards that.
Hey man, I mean, if I
always keep an eye out because sometimes, like, if she's slower on business, she'll be like, special, doing such and such tattoos for, $200 or $200. And she had the Majora, the Ocarina for like $100 tattoo, like, special last month, but I wasn't able to get into the get it done.
Yeah, but then since she's doing that specific Ocarina for everybody, it's like she could do it with multiple people.
She'll put up the ones that are available, and when she does them, she marks them off, and she won't do them double.
Oh, you won't double them?
No. Okay. She doesn't do any piece, any of her original pieces twice. If she draws it, she doesn't do doesn't do it twice.
Nice.
But like I said, I want to get that and the Majora mask like combined somehow.
That'd be cool.
Kind of have like the Ocarina over top of part of the mask or something. But who knows? But yeah, I'm just kind of getting through life, Glad you're doing better.
As we all are. Yeah, man, I mean, I'm just keeping on. I think ultimately, like, sometimes I get so caught up on just thinking that life is supposed to be going well.
Yeah.
That oftentimes I'm like, well, why the fuck is it so hard? Why is everything like so difficult? But then, like, if I can remind myself, like, maybe it's not supposed to just go well all the time. And then
not,
like,
because if
when
there's
3 things or 3 days or 3 minutes go well in a row, you're just like, man, what a happy accident that was. That was super cool. Like, what a cool set of moments. Like,
yeah, and it's also like there's no ups if there's no downs type of thing. The cliche sayings.
ups and downs.
Can't have the highs if you don't have the lows.
Well, that's the true. I mean, yeah, it's the
and
truth.
a quote. Before we fully transition into talking about books and stuff, book I've been reading had a quote recently. I liked it, and it kind of fits with this. Is the saying was, "It is in the human nature to want for what they cannot have," which I think is a very like true thing. Like we want just a perfect life, be happy all the time, but like it's just the natural order is like that's not possible. But I like that saying though. It's like it is in the human nature to want for what you cannot have,
or what you do not have. Not even what you can't have, but what you don't have.
I mean, it even like don't have, but like can't have. Like there's even things that are impossible. The human nature, we want it.
Yeah.
Like we want to be immortal. It's not possible. Like no one wants to die. Like legitimately, like there might be times where you get to that point where you feel like that's the best option.
I don't know. Like, I guess I would disagree with that. I would think like.
But I don't know. I just think in general though, like it's not. You know, it may not. It's one of those sayings where
it is a good saying.
Yeah, I just like it in general.
There's a lot of sayings that I love in certain contexts, but then once they're outside of that context, I'm just like, nah. But that's a good one.
Yeah. But anyway, but it's about talking about books. We got a decent bit to talk about for today's episode, though.
We do have a decent amount to talk about.
So I think we'll get into that.
Let's get to it.
All right. So, Harry Potter. Last we talked 2 weeks ago, we're
on book 5.
Yeah.
Well, I had just finished book 5, I think, and started book 6.
I think I was at the same point at that point.
You had like almost been done with it, and then I just finished book 7 now.
And I finished it a couple days ago.
So, we are officially done with Harry Potter, aside from...
There's like the Cursed Child play, but
all 7 books are done.
Yep, 7 books. The movies we can go watch at some point, but the books are done. This episode is pretty much going to be going over that, and then we're gonna do on the Wizarding World site, which is like the official Harry Potter like fandom site. They have a bunch of like quizzes and stuff about the Harry Potter series. We're gonna see.
So we're gonna take some quizzes, and we're gonna see how much information we've retained. Now, whether or not we're gonna do it as a collective or against each other, I think we'd probably just do it collective, right?
Yeah, we can pull our brain cells because I think combined we have like 3. So
also we should acknowledge the fact that we're gonna leave in a clip of Zane and I coming back to the studio upon reapparating here.
Yeah,
I thought you got splinched, dude. I was so fucking concerned when I couldn't see you here.
I practiced, apparating under my invisibility cloak. So when you couldn't see me, it kind of threw you off. It was just safer apparating under that. So whenever I arrived somewhere, I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I was so fucking nervous.
That's something I learned from Harry and them,
Is that once you arrive, you're kind of still invisible?
Yeah, so you can kind of pop in. Other than the noise, you're still invisible. So like you just
it was loud, so I thought you were here, but I was just tired. Well, you caught us. We had disappeared for a while to continue to take time for ourselves, whether that means we had stuff going on or we were studying.
We had to focus in on our education there at the end. Got a little rough. We had to kind of go to the aid of Harry there at the end.
It did.
Unfortunately, my wand broke in that adventure.
His wand did break in the adventure.
Yeah, but yours made it through. It's good.
Yeah, it did. It did make it through. Zane, I'm so sorry about your wand, dude.
Man, I'm just happy I'm here,
I'm glad you're here too. Your ear, I thought your ear got hit for a minute, but it wasn't yours, was it?
Nah.
You were covered in blood for a second.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of that around.
Well, when we discussed the books retrospectively,
they were, I remember, because I had read them before. This is my second time reading through them. It's been probably since they were published that I've read them. So there's a lot of stuff I've forgotten, but it was interesting, like reading through, and then he was a couple like days behind, so like he would call me when things would happen. So there's going to be major spoiler alerts on this episode.
From this point forward,
I'm gonna have there would have already at this point been a spoiler alert tag put in, but we're saying it verbally as well. We're going to spoil a lot of things.
Spoiler alert for Harry Potter.
It's been out a long time. You haven't read it. Go fucking read it. This is your problem.
Right now.
Stop. Just stop the fucking episode. Go read all the Harry Potter books. Come back. Listen to us. So I'll see you in like a week and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however fast you read.
I had read the first one, Zane. I loved it. I loved it so fucking much, dude. It feels so homey. It feels so good.
So, of the books, what was your favorite? We'll just start there.
That's the thing. It's like I'm trying to figure it out. It's like I love 1 and 2. They're so homey to me. They feel so good. There's so much that happens. They're happy too. They're like
I talked to my
even
sister
in their
about
sadness,
this too.
they're happier. They just feel happier.
Because my sister's a big Harry Potter fan, and I went and had last week. I went and had coffee with her, and we sat for 2 hours and just talked. We haven't done that in years. Talked about a lot of stuff, but we talked about Harry Potter and because she has the Deathly Hallows symbol tattooed on her and shit. Like she's a big Harry Potter fan, and we talked about our favorite book, and I think of personally my favorite book of the series is 5 or 6. It's one of those two. It's close.
Why?
I like 5 because it breathes a lot more life into Sirius' story, and I like his arc, and I feel like 5 is where the story starts to actually fully develop. Because I feel like 1, it introduces Harry, but the book is so focused on Harry at that point. 1 is just Harry's introduction to us. 2 kind of felt a lot like 1, other than it introduced Voldemort a little bit more. But it really, action-wise, it felt like timeline, structure-wise, it was a lot like 1, where it was just they were working towards getting into a place. They found the place. They got into it and fought the bad guy.
Got it.
So I feel like they not
very similar.
They're very nostalgic ones because it was the first 2. It was the most commonly watched ones.
Yes.
So nostalgia-wise, it probably hits us a bit better. But as far as story-wise, I feel like the first 4 books, the third one's the best out of the first 4.
This third book is great, man. That third book really pulls
It's the first one that really has a little more substance than just an introduction of Harry and Voldemort. Now the story takes a little bit more form. You get, kind of learn a bit more about, Lupin and his connection to his dad and a little bit more of the background of that stuff in 3.
Yeah.
So I like 3. 4, of all the books, is my least favorite.
Yeah, it's mine too. It's my least favorite.
Because as far as actual story progression,
4 was my least favorite.
I feel like 4, the only important parts of 4 was the last couple chapters.
Last chapter or 2, last
where
3 chapters.
The Voldemort thing happened, the wand connection happens, that part gets introduced. The games,
yeah,
and the Moody thing and all that felt like a cop out of a book.
Wait, it kind of did. It just was. It also though.
It introduced a bunch of minor characters.
It took you away from Quidditch for a bit to introduce you to some minor characters that even will be there later on, like Floor.
Yeah, so Floor,
Delacour, and
Crumb. You get some teacher-wise stuff, things that change that happen. Moody gets introduced. So I said somewhat minor characters get introduced after, and it's one of the longer books.
Yeah,
but it's very empty feeling.
It is.
Other than the end where it finally culminates into you find out all the little tiny hints they kind of put in the book.
Yeah, it makes me think that J.K. Rowling didn't have the entire thing planned out.
Well, I feel like she did, but she was trying to not get to that point too fast, so she just filled it with some event.
Yeah.
I feel like she introduced Harry, introduced Voldemort, kind of get a little more backstory to Harry, and then she's like, I feel like I need to put more in here before Voldemort's fully back. So she just threw this massive event in the middle and kind of tied it in. It's kind of how the 4th book felt.
Okay. So I feel similar to how you feel about it.
My sister too. Where 4 is story, content-wise was the least.
There are people whose favorite book is number 4 though.
Well, I mean,
there's quite a significant portion of people who would say their favorite one is number 4. So you either.
But that's probably people that didn't pay as much to the story. And they were more for the characters. There was a lot more character interactions. There was more it was the dances and relationships and stuff in that one. It felt 4 was almost felt more like an attempt at trying to. I was her first attempt at bringing romance into the series too, because there was the dances and people getting close to each other.
Oh, they're getting older.
Yeah, and
They're 14
but
years old at that point.
It felt like awkward teenage angst in a book. Like the awkward competitiveness because of the games, the awkward relationships, awkward interactions.
That's 14 in a nutshell, though.
But like as for a book in this series, it just didn't feel.
I agree.
Right.
I agree that the fourth one is not. So let's go to 5 and let's move on.
Five
To 5. And you're
is
saying
where-
that's your favorite one, whereas
5 or
I am
6.
thinking to myself, "Fuck this book. This is not bad, but I'm fucking fed up with Umbridge. Fuck
Yeah.
Umbridge. I'm like pissed, and I'm just like everything. It's just like a shit show. It just felt like 5 was the ultimate shit show.
Yeah, I do like. I like 5 because it introduced the split really in the Ministry and Hogwarts and like Dumbledore. It really kind of reinforced that.
Can we point out what the fuck were they even doing too? Like, 5th book is the longest book in the entire 7-book series, and yet when you put it into a movie, you make it the shortest of the movies. What the fuck are you doing?
Because there wasn't a lot of interesting things for movie
Not
side.
true. They took out whole plot elements. They changed everything.
Yeah,
they
but
changed.
their
how they were
audience-
introduced to the room
yeah.
requirement was different. Different person found it.
But their audience was kids, and they thought they had to keep their attention more, so they cut out all the what they probably considered mundane details to try to keep it interesting for kids. As adults, we probably would have enjoyed more of.
I don't think that's what it was. I think it was they were trying to shoot for time. I think they're trying to make them all 2-ish hour movies.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, they had to change entire things until they realized as they got to book 8 or book 7, they made it 7 and 8, 2 different movies to try to make it. And I haven't even seen those 2 yet, those 2 movies.
But as far as like I said, that one, like I said, like 6 is probably overall my favorite because that's really where, a lot of things are really, like a lot of storylines go crazy. That's the Draco's plot really kind of takes a turn.
And you hear about Snape,
Yeah, the Snape.
the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, the Snape story takes a left turn for you.
Harry gets a lot of that information and potions.
Yeah, we get a lot of information in general. Like he learns a lot from that book, but there's a lot of questions around it. He learns that spell that he fucks up Malfoy with, and that like scares him because he's like, "Oh shit, I pretty much almost killed a motherfucker just now."
Yeah,
and like they're pretty much taught like that like there's the one killing curse, and it's the Avada Kedavra, but then he uses that one, and it literally slices fucking.
Snape made it up.
Yeah, it was one Snape made, but it was the fact like in the book, he reads it and he's like, it says 4 enemies, but he like doesn't know, and then like in a moment of like a fight, he just instinctively used it and almost fucking killed Malfoy. If Snape hadn't been nearby, Malfoy was probably dead.
The fact that
wild.
The fact that at the end of this, Malfoy still shows his fucking. How is he not locked up? That's what I don't understand. How do they not take that boy?
Well,
How do they not take? How? How do you finish this book and he's not in fucking Azkaban?
because
How?
I think at that
His
point,
dad has been taken away. Everybody who's done bad has been either killed or whatever. But yet he is allowed to run free. He's allowed to just continue on. No consequences?
Malfoy never killed anybody in the end. He disarmed Dumbledore, but he never actually killed him. And it's not illegal to disarm somebody.
But he was part of the Death Eaters. He was an active Death Eater.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a bunch of people be on Voldemort's gang?
So was Snape, though. And Snape never went to prison.
Snape was not an... Snape
Yeah, but they also before...
was taken in by Albus Dumbledore. You're saying before?
Yeah,
You're
but I'm
referring to
saying, but
before?
like even before, Snape never went to prison. A lot of past Death Eaters didn't go to prison before
because they
either.
said they were under the curse, the Cruciatus curse.
Yeah. Or
Or not the
Imperius.
Imperius curse.
Mm-hmm.
But Malfoy was never acknowledged to be under the Imperius curse.
But
he was threatened.
Was threatened to have his family killed, which a lot of people would do things.
I wish you would have at least acknowledged more of what happened after Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, explain why Malfoy's still free, why he's still...
Well, because it's also like even
to
Harry,
discuss that even.
like even Harry understood that like Malfoy is part of a overall bad family, but Malfoy himself is just like holding an image that he thinks he has to. But when it came down to it, like even in the final book in the fight, like Harry saves him, and even Malfoy was like after that he made no attempts to like fight anybody. He was just trying to save, get out of there. He didn't fight in the fight at the end. He was just trying to live. And then even at the end, like, Voldemort finds out that.
And it also probably helped that Harry found out that his dad was also sort of a dickhead too, when it came to like messing with people and giving people a hard time, kind of like he's no better.
But then even Draco's mom, in the end, when she's supposed to be the one to find out if Harry's dead, and then she realizes he's not, and she's just like, "Is Draco okay?"
Yeah,
and then doesn't turn Harry in.
True.
So like even there, the Malfoys turn against Voldemort, and that's one of like those pivotal moments where they're like, we don't support him either, but we have no choice, or we die. So I think that is in the end, like Malfoy's still not like friendly. Like you see that even in that last when he sees him like 19 years later, and he's like, he's Malfoy, they like make eye contact, but then turns away. Like that's like you can tell they're still not friendly, but that's also just that wizarding thing of a Slytherin versus a Gryffindor. It's probably one of those.
Mm-hmm. It's just gonna be one of those things where Gryffindors and Slytherins are.
Yeah, but like it's the same thing. It was like Malfoy was never really friendly with even like as much as like Snape and stuff. Like no one really ever got along with Lucius Malfoy. He was kind of abrasive with everybody. It's probably how Draco's going to be, but at this point they don't. It's not because they're like a Voldemort follower. They're just kind of fucked up people.
Mm.
But it's also like, yeah, he's a Death Eater, but who would the Death Eaters follow? Oh yeah, motherfucker that is dead, and they know it this time.
Yeah,
that's the other difference. Is like before it was all those people that claimed they weren't behind it, but everyone kind of suspected they still were following them. They didn't really believe Voldemort was fully dead. The Ministry kind of put it out publicly it was, but like all the wizards that know anything were like, he's out there. Dumbledore's like, he's just trying to get power, but now they know he's dead.
The Ministry, were they with Voldemort?
No. So at one point they were kind of, because of the Imperius Curse, kind of run by at like near the end. But early on, but when he was...
Because it certainly seems like Umbridge was.
Well, Umbridge probably... I don't think she was fully with like Voldemort. I think Umbridge is just a family that was very pure blood. So there was a lot of people that like were about pure blood.
Agreed with that thing, yeah.
Yeah. And she didn't like... She was like racist against anyone that was half blood, half breeded, anything. She like... That's why she didn't like Hagrid. She didn't like the Centaur. Anybody that was like half anything, she fucking hated. So I think overall, she never questioned when like the Voldemort regime took over. I think she very much thrived off of it. But I don't think she was like directly a Death Eater.
She was a Karen. She was a fucking bitch.
But I think earlier, like in the books and stuff, every time Voldemort was like, when he first started saying like, no, Voldemort's back, like the 5th and 6th book, and the Ministry was like, you're just crazy, motherfucker. It was just more of like they wanted to save face and limit panic because they've been telling them for 12 fucking years.
But there were also people that were in the Ministry that were part of the Death Eaters.
Well, yeah, there were, and that's why later on they took over because they had people in it. But like the Ministers of Magic weren't Death Eaters at that point, but they were just trying to save their own face.
Yeah.
So you had not only the Death Eater stuff, but then you had the political side playing in, where they're like, Voldemort can't be back because then that means we weren't defending our people and we got to save face. So Harry's a liar. Fuck Harry. But then later, as you said, like Voldemort kind of Imperius cursed their way into the top.
I did feel like I knew it was a setup. Like Snape and Dumbledore were somehow in on it together.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hinted at like the whole series. Like Dumbledore always goes, I trust him. I trust him. I trust him. I trust him. And then they put that little bit of like doubt on Dumbledore after he dies, trying all these questions about his life. But then you like learn that he was like, yeah, I mean, I made poor mistakes and I tried to correct them for my whole life.
He was a human, you know, like we all are. So,
but it was hinted at like the whole time. And like it even tell you like at one point, like, you know, Snape was going to, like, as soon as Draco was involved, like you knew Snape was going to be the one to do it because at the beginning of the book, he makes that pact, that unbreakable vow. So, like, you knew whatever Draco was doing, it was going to end up being Snape.
His unbreakable vow, yeah.
It would have killed him if he didn't do it. And so, like, you already kind of knew that part was going to happen. And you know Dumbledore's not going to allow somebody he cares for to die instead of him. So like it's almost hinted at that Snape was going to be the one to do it later. Like as closer it got, the more you realize what he was going to be doing. So that part was like
just a well-written series of books, man.
Yeah, I think the last
goes into it.
I think the sixth book was like my favorite as far as story development because it like really there's that twist on Snape. You know, shit happens to Dumbledore, Draco's like arc, the first like fight with the Death Eaters at Hogwarts. Like it's just like a big pivotal moment story wise overall. And then 7 is just kind of a tying up the loose ends and the questions.
I would say my first favorite are the first 3 books. I would say if any of them, it's probably third.
Yeah, the third book is definitely, I think, the best out of the first half of the books. First 5 even, I'd probably say.
They're great books, man. You can't, it's hard to segment them because they all take information.
They go together, but
so
I just think overall, like what they offered to the series as a whole, the last 2 were definitely the most impactful overall because it's the turning point and then the wrap up. Those are hard to beat, but I feel like...
But Zane, let's pretend one of those books was the one that you had to reread over and over and over again.
I'd read...
You can only pick up one of the books.
6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd want the ending?
Mm-hmm. Because you know Harry. You know about Voldemort. So the first 2 lose... Like... Harry...
But you also know how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
You already know how it ends, so you're choosing the books that are going to give you the ending rather than the ones
there's still
that
more
give you
that happens,
story.
though, in those last 2. So if I'm going to read more, I want more to be happening. There's at least more going on. There's more
I would probably
kind of subjective sayings and stuff, too. It's more stuff that it's like a lot of stuff that like Dumbledore and like ethical stuff that they talk about that's more to like your own personal thoughts, too.
I'm going 3.
Now,
I'm picking if I had to take one of those with me every single time, it's 3. It's the night bus. It's all that
I'd
fun
probably do...
If I got to take one of those books with me, it's got to be reread over and 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 over again. 3.
I'd probably do 6.
Fair.
My final one. Because like 7 has a lot, but it's more so just wrapping things up. I think 6... Because it's like the whole thing going through the ministry and doing all that shit that like there was a lot of like things brought up, you know? And I feel like overall I'd like that one. Deathly Hallows was definitely a good book though. Definitely a good book. But it's definitely interesting.
7's great because you get all those memories with Snape.
Yeah, you know you truly learn Snape on that book.
7 is great too.
Which is why Harry ends up naming like putting the middle name of one of his kids is Severus. After the
3,
whole series
7.
like loathing him at the end, he was like, "That's the bravest motherfucker I know."
3 or the 3 and maybe 3 then 7 for me. But we got some quizzes to take for time.
We do. We'll take a couple of these.
As you can see, I'm yawning like a motherfucker over here because I just don't have the ability to stay up much later. We're recording this at a different time than we typically do.
A day earlier and later in the day.
Yes.
And you had your kids today, right?
Well,
for a couple days. All right, so we can do the Outpost quiz. The Dobby true or false. I mean, actually, pop this up here. Well, can we get this behind us a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, so we have the NEWTs. Do they have the OATs? We'll take the OATs first if they have it.
OWLs, you mean?
OWLs, not the OATs. That was when I went to school, what our thing was called.
Yeah, but you didn't go to Hogwarts, bro.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right, you had 10 questions.
Ready as I'll ever be, I guess.
All right. What does NEWT stand for? The nastily exhausting wizarding test, the nervously excruciating wizarding test, the nice and easy wizarding test, or the next executive wizarding test? I think it's the next executive.
Next executive wizarding tests.
We both agree on that?
Yes.
No, it was the nastily exhausting. And which year are NEWT exams taken? I believe it's the 6th year.
It is your 5th year.
I thought that was the OWLs. Isn't the 6th the NEWTs or the 7th? 7th is on NEWT. think it's the last year. Because fifth.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yep, 7th. Because the 5th was OWLs. You decide what you move on with. Out of these subjects, what did Harry not take at NEWT level?
Care of magical creatures.
Yeah, he dropped it and pissed off Hagrid. Yep. Which of these is a potion taught to Hogwarts students at the NEWT? Amortentia, swelling solution, confusing concoction, and a draught of peace. I think it's the swelling one. I don't know though. I can't remember.
Solution.
We have a time, so
I think it's confusing concoction.
you're both wrong anyway. It was Amortentia. How many NEWTs do you need to become an Auror of the Ministry of Magic? I believe it's like 5 or 6.
6.
6?
Yeah.
5. Fuck.
5.
What grades do you have to achieve? Outstanding or exceeds excellence? All outstanding? As long as you can passing grade, a mixture of pass and fail grades as long as you have 75 subjects.
And what grades do you have to achieve?
I think it's the 2 highest, O's and E's. For the NEWTs. Who out of the Golden Trio returned after the Battle of Hogwarts to complete their 7th year at NEWT exams? It's probably Hermione. Of the 3, just fucking Hermione.
Who out of the Golden Trio returned after the Battle of Hogwarts to complete their 7th year?
Definitely Hermione's something Hermione would do.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't think they said that, though. I don't remember them saying that. Do you?
I don't, but it makes sense, though.
I don't remember
of the 3 who
said.
would go back. What was the minimum grade requirement for taking Professor McGonagall's Transfiguration class at NEWT? I think it was an E. Exceeds.
It was O.
You think O?
Yeah.
E.
Was exceeds?
Yeah. How many NEWT level classes did Hermione take? Fucking probably 8. Fuck. I feel like for her, it's probably the highest.
Yeah.
Probably 7 or 8. What do you think?
Why would you take more than 7? I don't know.
7 then?
Sure.
Perfect. Nice. Which of these is a spell taught to Hogwarts students at NEWT level? A summoning charm, a protean charm, a boggart banishing charm, and a levitation.
At Newt level, it's a protean charm.
Yup. We got 6 out of 10. Not bad. The Neville Longbottom quiz, the magical games and sports quiz, and who said
Who
it
said
quiz.
it? That's what I want.
It's a 3-star level quiz with 10 questions.
I got it.
Twitchy little ferret, aren't you, Malfoy?
I know. Hermione.
You think Hermione?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's after Mad
I
Eye.
never knew all the odd stuff I could do was magic till I got the letter from Hogwarts.
Colin. That was Colin Creevy.
Okay.
Because I think he was like Muggle born. Yep.
Wow, you like your Quidditch players, don't you? First Crumb, then McLagan.
Is either Lavender or
Lavender or Pravati? Let's say Lavender Brown.
Pravati.
Pravati Patel.
Stunningly pretty. Her? What was that judging against? The chipmunk?
Millicent.
I think it was Pansy Parkinson.
Pansy.
Yeah.
My name was down for Eaton, you know. I can't tell how glad I am I came here instead. My name
Ernie.
yeah.
I think it's Ernie. Or Justin.
It's
Justin or Ernie?
Zachariah Smith.
Think Zacharias? I think it's Justin or Ernie.
Ernie.
Fucking Justin. Fuck. Yes,
He's a vampire. Father wrote a very long article about it when a Scrimgeour first took over for Cornelius Fudge, but he was forced not to publish by somebody from the ministry. That's Luna Lovegood.
That's fucking Lovegood.
If you went out and got a bit of snogging done yourself, that's Ron.
Well, no, it's Ginny talking to Ron.
Oh, Ginny, yeah. That's true.
She told me about your hearing. So is it really true you made a stag? You made a stag Patronus? Not Bones. Yeah, Susan Bones. It was
Katie
the daughter of
Susan Bone.
the law lady.
Do it.
Yeah. or the niece of her or whatever.
Yeah, but the lost item is lost, Luna. That's sort of the point. Cho Chang?
Cho or
I don't
Corner?
know who these other people are.
I think it's Cho or Michael. I think we'll go
I
Cho.
said Cho.
It's Michael. Fuck.
Man.
What are you going to do? Snively wipe your nose?
Snivelly.
Snivelly.
Sirius Black. Or James Potter.
I think it's Potter.
I think it's Sirius.
Think it's serious?
Yeah.
Nice. We got 7 of those ones.
Nice. What did we get before?
Oh, we had 6 on the first one. We got 7 on this one.
We'll do one more.
The Ultimate Longbottom, the Magical Sports, the True and False Dudley Dursley edition.
Oh, let's do True and False. Dudley Dursley.
It's a 1-star
Easy
one.
Star.
Dudley attended esteemed Muggle school Smeltings Academy.
True.
Dudley's friends called him Big D.
True.
In the books, Dudley has blonde hair.
True.
Uncle Vernon used to call Dudley Tiny Tot.
False.
And Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Oh, fuck. Oh, the Dudley married Harry's childhood blanket. I'm going to say false.
I don't want to know the answer to it. I'm not looking.
In his teenage years, Dudley became adept at boxing. True. He was a boxer, right?
True. Yeah.
Dudley was actually a squib.
False.
Dudley's childhood best friend was called Preston Polkis.
Probably.
Fuck, no. Once accidentally ate a tongue. Yes.
True.
And finally, Hagrid once gave Dudley a cat's tail. False.
It's a pig.
It was a pig tail. 8 of them. One of them was... I clicked a random one for the one we didn't want to know because I didn't want to...
You don't want to know it either?
Yeah. But 8 out of 10. 9 out of the ones we actually cared about. That was a quick one. Let's do the Magical Games one.
Okay.
The final one. That one was real fast. Which of the following was not an ancient broomstick sport? Quodot, sloth grip roll. I'm gonna go with
That's we haven't read the history of Quidditch. That's from that book, I'm sure.
Probably. I'm just clicking on one. What famous character's mother was president of the official Hogwarts Gobstones Club? It sounds like
Their mother was
Albus or Snape. It was Snape. It was the Prince lady.
Mm-hmm.
Which ex-Quidditch ace was head of Department of Magical Games and Sports? It was Ludo Bagman.
Yep.
What was the unique difference between wizard chess and muggle chess? Muggle chess pieces are sentient. They actually move around and do shit. How are the champions decided in the Tri-Wizard tournament? Their names came out of the goblet.
Yep. I'm trusting you on these because I know these ones too. I agree.
During a game of... Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to confirm.
Just acknowledge it, yeah.
During a game of cards pub, what was Hagrid's grand prize? It was the dragon egg.
Dragon.
What happens when you lose a game of gobstones?
Stone squirts liquid at you.
Nearly Headless Nick's would-be friends from the Headless Hunt liked to partake in what game? It was head hockey, right? Or head ball.
I want to say it was head hockey or rugby. But
Yeah. That's the one we agreed on there. This is the name of the popular card game lauded by Hogwarts students. Exploding Snap. It was mentioned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
National Gobstones Association tried to make the game more popular with which campaign tagline? Gobstones for all, give Gobstones a chance, give Gobstones a second glance, Gobstones a new Quidditch.
Give Gobstones a glance, I want to say, but I'm not
sure. A second
sure.
glance or a chance?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll just do this one. Hey! We got 9 of those ones. We just didn't know the I don't even fucking remember which one it was. Oh, the ancient sport. We didn't know the ancient version.
'Cause I feel
of
like
Quidditch.
that's in that like a history of Quidditch book that she made.
But yeah, that's not a bad one. But hell yeah, brother. But so yeah, that wraps up Harry Potter for us.
It does.
We appreciate everybody hanging out for the Harry Potter arc of our show. It was good books. I'm getting into some new books, so next episode we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll have some new stuff next time.
Big books,
for sure.
big books,
Big books.
big motherfucking books. Big book guy, and he's gonna get back into some of his other reading a little bit more now that we finished Harry Potter.
Yeah, I really couldn't get away from it for a while. It's a
mean-
very absorbing series. It's worth the read. If you've only seen the movies and you haven't read the books, just read the books, because I know everyone is always like, yeah, the books are different than the movie. These ones really are. Entirely different. So read it.
Definitely is. But we appreciate y'all for being here.
Definitely. Say hello to your mother for me if you could.
And tell somebody you love them.
Goodbye.
Peace.